Hit me!
233.
With clever meme, with funny tweet, I'll never leave my office seat. Those who think they know what's right, listen on Sundays to NetHeads, all right?
You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now. So when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek, giving you the info you need to achieve mega nerd status. NetHeads.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
Sorry, everyone. Had to do a quick costume change. I don't think anyone but Trent would notice. Had to get
I thought you were just waiting for the beat to drop.
No, you know,
that's what I was happy for that.
First of all, buddy, so nice to see you on the other end of the camera there. Welcome, everyone, another edition of NetHeads. My name's Will.
I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, excuse me, I'm coughing on my beverage. You can do so one of many ways. One of them is Twitter, and I love that my co-host always tells you how you can do that.
Yeah, so easy, folks. It's the easiest. You just do the hashtag NetHeads.
Yeah, and you can put it on something that's germane to the topic or something that's completely inane to the topic. It's your choice.
Yeah. Send all your nudes to hashtag NetHeads.
No, wait a second. Because first of all, your nudes could be open for interpretation.
That's true. That's true.
And secondly, buddy, you got to remember there are some things that just can't be unseen. So, you know, choose
again. Valid point.
Or, you know, and this is the only thing I'll say on the topic. For years, I've said vote out all incumbents, and we need somebody that is not a politician to run for president. So I'm just going to say, careful what you wish for.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's a valid point.
It is. It definitely is. Everybody, welcome to NetHeads. If you want to take part in the program also while we're live, you can. It's real easy via Skype. NetHeads on air. That's the simplest way, folks. So,
yeah,
you know, I mean, you could do 866-610-WILL, or you could do YakBet9020. But I think most people now are verbose and down with the Skype.
Yeah, no, everyone's. It's especially since it's so integrated with the Windows now and everything
everybody
else.
Was Skype fighting.
Skype.
Hey, by the way, what it's new for Trent. Sorry, I got this cough. Trent's got the sniffles. I got a cough. Together, we're sniffles and cough, everyone.
Sniffles and cough.
I did say cough, right? Okay, good. I thought I went the other way. Yeah. Sniffles and kick. Anyway, it's kind of a weird time, folks, but welcome, NetHeads, the most non-techie tech podcast available on the internet. For example, I started off saying it was so nice to see Trent on the other side of the camera, and I am because we haven't done this for 2 weeks, and it was funny because 2 weeks ago I sent a text message just saying, hey, I forgot to mention if we're gonna pod, we're gonna have to do it today because I have to travel to the East Coast tomorrow.
Yeah,
and what was the response that I got, Trent?
Oh, no big deal. Just going to Wyoming to move cows with the folks.
Now, I am fairly confident that we may very well be the first tech podcast to have its recording session interrupted for running cattle.
Yeah, and you know what? And I would like to think that in doing so, we are breaking ground that has needed to be broken. Will.
Yeah, I agree. You know, everyone wants change. There you go. There's your change, folks. Tech pod. And the second weekend, actually, last weekend, you had a lot of stuff going on in Salt Lake City. So,
yes.
You know, the thing is, we're coming up against that time where we theoretically called it the holiday podcast hiatus.
Oh, that's
So-
right.
So really, the truth of the matter is, we're going to ask you folks, be kind, stick with us, don't fall
Yeah.
off the radar. But with the holidays and everything else between now and the new year, it is going to be intermittent. And we basically said, we even called it. We said that Halloween was the ushering of this season.
It is. Yeah.
So if hopefully we'll be able to come at you live on a Saturday or in your ears as a podcast during the week. But it'd be between now and then. All we're saying is we're asking you to express some leniency towards us.
Yeah. Just, be kind, rewind.
Exactly. That's all we ask.
No,
By
dude,
my
how
favorite.
I wish I had a roll of those stickers that was on every single tape that we when you went to the video store. I would kill for those stickers right now. Be kind, rewind. I would put them on everything.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the ways that we missed making money, Trent, because we could have made one of those DVD rewinders to sell to
Right. Yeah. Yeah. To go with the headlight fluid for the cars we could be selling.
Exactly. Because sucker born every minute. Anyway, so Trent, it's been an interesting couple of weeks, obviously, but I've already said my piece on it because I was looking back on it, and honestly speaking, I wouldn't say we directly in any way got into what we would call in-depth political talk. It was more like just our disbelief on what was happening during the election.
It's like WTF moments.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that pretty much now I got a lot of opinions and a lot of ideas. But for starters, I kind of came to the realization that in a way I'm part of the problem because I'm one of those people. There's been a lot of recent talk about bubbles. Have you noticed that?
Bubbles?
Yes.
Like the Powerpuff Girl?
No, like we all have our own personal informational bubbles.
Oh, sure.
Or our own politosphere or our own conversational spheres, and we have to break out beyond those and yada 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 blah blah blah. Look, folks, the only thing I have successfully determined, and I'm shocked to be thinking this and saying it out loud, but I have actually grown very tired of social media at this point.
Yeah.
Only because I kind of feel like in many ways, and I'm sorry, please don't point out the blatantly obvious, you're just now realizing this, Will. But apparently it just seems to empower the worst in all of us is the only way I can say it. And there's this kind of I don't want to say misinterpretation or a certain empowerment in the realm of social media and the realm of free speech. And what I'm getting at here is just because you have the ability to voice your opinion doesn't necessarily mean you have to. And I mean this on both sides of the fence.
Oh, for sure.
For example, case in point, I am not going to Facebook. And this is the one way I think we can talk about this, Trent, because I think it's very interesting. In the news recently, with the way that the election shook out, there's been a lot of talk. I don't know if and the thing I love about our relationship, Trent, is that I can legitimately say, I don't know if you've heard about this. And in some cases, honestly speaking, Trent probably hasn't.
I haven't. Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want to say you've grown tired of social media, but it's just not a priority in your life.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit. You don't need to look at the news if you don't want to.
Yeah. I too can live in my own bubble.
There you go. Well, hold on. Don't.
That's who voiced Bubbles.
Yes, it is. Yeah. As well as Tommy Turner, and I'm still going through therapy for that one. Well, the weirdest
and Cockknocker.
Yeah. Oh.
In Jane Silent Bob super groovy cartoon movie.
In kind of a Bubble-esque voice, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah, that was one of those where necessity somehow provides genius.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments. Anyway, but the great thing is that, if they were to continue that animated movie theme, then they could always just make Cockknocker, a different outrageous voice every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say is one of the things that's come up in the news that Google and Facebook have been taking a lot of flack on now, because naturally, the division within America still runs strong. For example, just because you see a hate crime in the news, and even if they invoke, for example, like "Go Trump" within their horrible graffiti that they do, don't confuse that with Trump supporters. And I know, once again, you may be shocked that I'm saying this type of thing. However, by lumping people into classifications, that makes us part of the problem.
Yep.
Anyway,
you're spot on, dude. I totally agree. I mean, probably the one that affected me the most that I saw was the Beastie Boy Memorial Park in Brooklyn.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's the one where I'm like, you freaking assholes! Like, come on.
And again, just because the graffiti says "Go Trump," doesn't what could be happening is that there are certain individuals that are suddenly feeling empowered because of the general tone that may be there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're Trump supporters. So you can't.
Well, and even if they are, that's the one small, excuse they have now to be more vocal about it. They feel they can do it under that guise.
Yeah, and I'll get back to the news point in a second. But like case in point too. I think it was 1 or 2 weeks before the election. My brother and his sister-in-law were in town, and so we visited with them. And my family on that side has very strong ties to the military. My brother and sister-in-law both served in the military. My sister-in-law still currently serves in the military. Both of their daughters, my nieces, serve in a branch of the military.
Yeah,
and guess what? Military families vote for. They vote for Republicans. Why? Because that means increased spending in defense. So that means better money and benefits and support for them.
Yep.
So again, you can't just say if somebody voted for Trump, they're this or that. We can't put, the moment we start to attempt to define things and categorize them, we are in our own way putting down a bias. Okay. All right. Now I'm done. I think. No problem. Okay, so what I'm getting at is there's been a lot of flack towards Google and towards Facebook after the results of the election because, of course, people are trying to look for a solution that isn't there. And one of the things that they're saying is that this election cycle, there was a massive propagation across social media and the internet of what we call fake news. Trent, these are false. Case in point. And I am not attempting to debate this issue at all. I do not want to debate, nor do I want to discuss this issue. I am just going to cite one reference. And that is, like, one of the things that goes about is that during the election, there were paid protesters at Trump rallies. And the majority of news sources that quoted this made it look like it was an article from ABC News. If you look carefully, though, it was abcnews.com.co. And this is a guy that writes what he considers to be satire, but basically he makes good money because of the impressions he gets and the traffic he has in writing fake news articles. And he wrote what he has admitted is a completely fake news article, and he generated the supporting Craigslist ad for it as somebody that was paid $3,500 to protest at a Trump rally. And this made the rounds. This article was even quoted at the time by I think is it Corey Lewandowski? Is that his name?
Yeah,
former Trump campaign manager. And what they're saying is that the inability and almost the inability to on social media to identify what are fake news stories versus quote unquote real news stories.
Yeah, or to even, to even suss it out, to even try and decide whether or not it's real or not. You just, gotta share it. I'm not, you know what? In fact, I'm not even gonna fucking read it. I'm just gonna share it right off the bat because the headline is so outrageous and I'm so angered by it, instead of, I don't know, reading it and then being like, wait a second, let me see if anyone else has covered this.
Yeah, and there have actually been two different news sources that have utilized this tactic to demonstrate it themselves. They've written articles where they talk about how people won't read what they're forwarding. And I think the most recent one, I'm sorry for bringing this up for the people that don't like this website, and I'm kind of in that realm as well, but Huffington Post ran an article, and the headline was, Bernie Sanders could take the White House still through this one loophole.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then the entire body of the article was about how people aren't reading the news that they're even sharing.
Yep.
So there is no quality checking going on.
Right.
Now, but, and my take on this is, okay, yes, I agree. If there's any one thing that I am a believer in, it is irrefutable facts.
Right.
And during this election cycle, both sides were definitely guilty of cherry picking facts, or in some cases misrepresenting things, or they misrepresented in a way where they could back up these facts.
Sure. Sure.
So my big problem is reporting but not on fact, things being represented but not being factual. So obviously fake news is a concern. Now, the thing that I have an issue with this on is I find it very hard to believe that if you buy into the explanation that part of the driving force between or behind Trump's conversion of the Rust Belt was that he reached out to these disenfranchised or more to the point, just economically challenged people in non-urban areas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, I find it hard to believe then that if we're talking about small economically depressed cities, that, Stephen Fleischer in middle of nowhere, Michigan, he's looking at his Facebook news feed and getting all of his information. Those two things don't add up to me. So I think there's a bit too much attention being put on this. However, I would also like to have some clarity in the news people are sharing, because I could build a website right now. Trent and I could probably spend at a minimum 1 hour a day coming up with outrageous news stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we can make everything look totally legit.
Yep.
And we would just be doing it to make money. So, I mean, there has to be an understanding that just because it's on the news or on the web and available in print doesn't mean it's true.
I mean, InfoWars much?
Oh my gosh. Look, you can say what you want, but at least we avoided one casualty, and that was Alex Jones exploding scanner style on air. Because that's what he would have done. But case in point, true, there's the thing. I mean, this is somebody, well, look at us. We're able to sit down. We're broadcasting. If we wanted to, we could, at our own expense, get together at one place every time. We could have a green screen behind us and a fancy desk. We could wear shirt and ties, and we could be reporting, quote unquote, our news.
The drive-by liberal media.
Oh, Lord have mercy. And that's the thing too. I too have been at times slipping into things that, if I were to publish them, it could get you thinking in a way. Like case in point, there was a moment when after the election, Russia kept coming up in the news again, and it started me thinking, well, wait a second. Do you think there's any chance that within the current established government, certain Republican people in charge may have true information about Russia's involvement in the DNC hacking, or more to the point, connections between Trump and Russia? And they've got that in their hip pocket to make sure that on January 21st, they can start the impeachment process and have President Pence. Right? And now I know you're like, wow, Will, that is like the mirror Alex Jones theory.
Yeah, right.
And I don't mean, but I mean, like seriously, it makes you wonder at a point in our lives where we're at right now, where the president-elect gets onto Twitter and goes after the cast of Hamilton. You have to wonder what other things are possible. Okay, now I'm done, I think.
For now.
But anyway, but my whole point is, like when I just look, if I'm going onto Facebook, I just want to find out what's going on in my friends' lives. That's what I want to do. I want to see the picture my kid is sharing with the world. I want to see the picture of my friend's kids, or the funny thing note that their 6-year-old wrote where they were trying to say the word cute, but instead they spelt it twice, C-U-N-T. I want to see these amusing things. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. And I think Facebook itself is perpetuating kind of the problem with showing you trending things and ads that are paid to be in front of you, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of unavoidable at this point, though.
Well, and here's the other terrifying thing. If you are relying on social media as your news source, okay, by doing that, you're already placing yourself in a bubble.
Right.
And
not the Tara Strong kind.
No, you are going to be following the people that the people that are like you. Odds are, case in point, one of the stars of the TV series Chuck, he is Adam Baldwin. No relation, I think, to the Baldwin family of lore, but Adam Baldwin is a very staunch Republican. When Chuck was on, I followed all the stars on Twitter, and when I started to see a lot of heavy right-wing rhetoric from him, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't what I'm looking for out of following the stars of Chuck, so I'm going to unfollow Adam Baldwin.
Sure.
So then at that point, you now know I have less of an influence in Republican news. So naturally, I have created my own little bubble, my own little peaceful existence, and my own little place I can hide in the world. And even now, the Twitter rhetoric, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4 entries. Nope, there's one that's you laughing. News about the weather. Something to Adam Savage from Mythbusters.
Yeah. I like him.
Boom, the very top one out of 5 articles. Zach Braff talking about the Hamilton booing. And by the way,
really?
if you're not,
see, nope, have no idea.
Okay, and again, words I say may shock you. So 2 things happened. Well, one thing happened, and there were 2 events of note. Vice President-elect Mike Pence attended the musical Hamilton last night. Okay. Upon his entrance in the theater, the audience, some people clapped, some people booed. For those of you that booed, how do I say this? Whether you respect the man or not, we still have to attribute respect to the office.
Agreed.
Also, a performance theater on Broadway is not the place to be voicing your political agenda.
Agreed.
So, it's one thing to find out he's going there and you're protesting outside. If that's what you're doing, fine, you're electing your right. And I certainly hope you're doing it with a permit so that you have no issue. But inside the theater, all things should be equal. Now, the second thing that happened, though, was that the cast basically read a message to him where they were just saying that as a diverse culture, they were concerned over the administration's support of the people of diversity such as them. Or all Americans, more to the point. And they encouraged him and hoped that he got inspiration from it. So there were 2 things that happened there. I don't agree with the booing at all. And to some extent, I'm not necessarily sure I even agree with the cast making their statement the way they did at the end. Although it's interesting when you think about it, considering Hamilton was basically killed for exercising his free speech in a certain manner. In a pedantic kind of way too, when you think about it. Yeah, seriously. I mean, Burr did not appreciate the political rhetoric or commentary of Alexander Hamilton. Challenged him to a duel. Hamilton lost. Which, by the way, I please don't take that as a metaphor on how to handle Twitter trolls. or any disagreement for that matter. But it's just interesting in a way that they were expressing their free speech. And also I believe it was the person that played Aaron Burr that made the announcement. So that's kind of interesting. when you look at it. And I don't want to talk about any of the other fallback about that or fallout from that. I don't even remember why I brought it up. But my whole point is that because Zach Braff did. But that's what I'm saying, though. Through social media, we have our own circles that we establish. So, case in point, if you were a Democrat that was heavily Hillary Clinton, and you have your Facebook and your Twitter, and then you say, I don't understand how Donald Trump won because I don't know anybody that was supporting Trump.
Exactly.
Come on. Right? I don't. Your argument doesn't make sense because you have your little spheres of influence that you've built. And it's not until we step out of those spheres that we can see the other perspective or the other parts of the world, or at least some understanding. So, all that said, I don't know. I personally, the other interesting thing that came out of this, that at one of the hackathons at a university, a group of 4 students actually came up with a plugin for Facebook that would attempt to authenticate and thus label news stories that were posted. So it would either say that it was valid or invalid. and it's like, that was one of the Zucker's things. It's like, well, I'm not sure, or people were speculating, not Zuckerberg, not the Zuck. On how this,
that's his name, the
Zuck. I hope that's how he refers to himself.
Like he's now going to start a morning show, a morning zoo show.
The Zook and the Douche.
Yeah. Coming at you live, the Zook and the Douche.
Before the show, I was telling Trent how I had meant to load that obnoxious sports air horn. And that would have been one of those great moments where I could have just suddenly get like Zook and the Douche. Anyway, so look outside your bubble and validate your goddamn news sources, people. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. David Frum gave some great advice on left, right, and center. Talking about just protests in general and people that are protesting. It's like, don't be an idiot. Don't disrespect the flag. If you've got veterans in your group, put them up front. If you have people that know how to smile in your group, put them up front and like be positive. Like there's anyone that's on both sides. If you will always catch more bees with honey than vinegar, folks.
Very true. And the other thing I have to say, because obviously I'm not out protesting, but if you're protesting the results now, I fully expect you to protest the election results for the next 4.5 years. You don't get to stop. Otherwise, okay, well, that was your gesture and great. And what good came of it?
Well, and take the high road. You know what I mean? Like, don't be the guy that wants to see the president's birth certificate.
Yeah, case in point.
Just take the high road, folks.
Yeah, try anyway. Do the best you can, folks. Do the best you can. You know what I mean? And go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and I do tell you what though, ZDigital13 on Twitter using the hashtag NetHeads is taking some fun photos of you and myself on his TV screen.
Considering his drawing capabilities as well, that kind of terrifies me.
Yeah. Well, I think he also sent some sexy pictures when I asked for nudes, so I appreciate that as well. All your nudes belong to us, so keep it up, folks.
Oh, I really dig the. Oh no, he's touching my bald head as I'm once again looking down.
Saying so soft and smooth.
You know what's interesting though? In the picture that he's doing that in, you see there's a little explosive. It's a Deadpool figurine. I think it's made by the same people that make the pop things. Look right over here above my NetHead symbol, and it's out of focus, but same exact little guy right there. Loot Crate, baby. Loot Crate.
Is that gray?
No. Hold on a sec. Hold on.
Grab it. Yeah. Let's show and tell. Oh, dude, remember? Oh yeah, remember show and tell? I remember.
Oh, I got some show and tell to show and tell you, but here it is. This is one of those little. Okay, who made it? It's an O-Fig of Deadpool, made by it's an adult collectible Loot Crate exclusive QMX online, and it's kind of interesting because you can see it's a translucent plastic base, and then he's coming out against the explode. I've seen people actually take these off the base and mod them to have some type of illumination in the explosion area.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That would be rad.
Also, by the way, Deadpool related. I don't know why this is happening, but my nearly 2.5-year-old, every once in a while just randomly yells Deadpool. So much so that one day my wife was picking up Emily. Blair is sitting in the back seat in her car seat with the window down, just yelling Deadpool out the window. I don't know what her motivation is, but I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, Trent, let's get on.
Win.
I think so. That's well, actually, you want to talk about another parenting win last night?
Yes.
I have found one thing also that occurs, and that is that when I am up late at night, apparently that's when the emotional filters come down and I start waxing poetic or philosophical.
I'm glad you finished the waxing part, because I was thinking that's when I start waxing off. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, right, buddy. See, you're like, wait, is Will finally going there? Are we gonna have this talk?
Yes, this is awesome. This should be a NetHeads After Dark.
Oh yeah, now we're finally gonna be talking about stroking and broken. Yeah, baby. No, that's not it. What I'm talking about. I gotta get the air horn sound in. No, last night, my wife went to bed early, and Blair, of course, went to bed early, but Emily was still up and I was up, and we had just discovered this. I think is an interesting twist. This plays into the tech aspect and as well as the television aspect. This is an interesting embracing that kind of shocks me, Trent. The X1 platform from Xfinity, also known as Comcast, they have added the ability to have supporting apps.
Okay.
So through my cable provider on my cable box, I can now have the Netflix app. And the integration is so complete that if I say, for example, search Netflix for Mickey Mouse and Christmas. No, wait, strike that, reverse it. If I search Xfinity for Mickey Mouse Christmas, it'll even show me results from Netflix, encouraging me to go to Netflix. That's an interesting bedfellow story, isn't it? It's like, well, hey guys, how do we cut this? How do we combat the cable cutters? Actually, this makes perfect sense now that I think about it. It's old white dudes in a boardroom trying to figure out how to solve the problem of Netflix. Oh, let's put that on our box. No, dummies. This is the alternative cable cutters are mostly going
to. Unless your internet provider is also your cable provider, at which point you could then have direct influence on throttling anything that came through Netflix on that side and give a lower quality picture, incentivizing people to then watch things natively on the cable box.
Very good point, sir. I am so glad that you are on point, since I am the clueless dummy in this scenario. But that's very true, because as you were saying that, I now realize, well, wow, so if I was having performance issues, I could just watch Netflix through there. Anyway, so last night I made this discovery, and yes, I connected because I did pull the one stunt that you do prior to finally admitting, fuck it, I'm cutting the cable altogether.
Yeah.
And that's where I called them and told them I'm cutting the cable altogether, and they struck $100 off the bill.
That's how they do.
So anyway, I did connect the Netflix app up, the account through there, and my daughter recently, Emily, not Blair, Emily recently binged Stranger Things on her
nice.
own.
Awesome.
And so she was going through a rewatch of it, and I didn't realize what was happening at the time because I had a job to do, and I blew it off because we ended up rewatching the first episode of Stranger Things.
Oh, so good, that first episode.
And at the point where I told her, I think I got to go to bed, she said, okay, well, we'll pause this. And I'll go upstairs too. And so we went to bed, and it wasn't until afterwards I realized, oh my gosh, it wasn't so much watching Stranger Things for my kid. It was about watching Stranger Things with her dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I ended up writing this little thing last night because I kind of, it made me very reflective, mostly because, I went through a lot to become a parent, more so than the average parent with a non-complicated pregnancy, I guess is the best way I would explain it.
Yeah, as far as like the actual like
getting to be one,
getting the child in the home.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes I take that kind of relationship for granted, but also you know, I'm still blown away in many respects that I'm somebody's father. You know, maybe not shocked so much as overly apologetic to the children, but you know, and I just realized that this was really kind of a moment that was very kind of run parallel to other parts of my life. And I just started tweeting about it. And I said, I just realized that my 13-year-old daughter stayed up because she wanted to hang with me. We rewatched some Stranger Things. Made me miss these kind of moments with my dad. We'd watch movies together. I got to pick. He dreaded the Karate Kid, the original. But then he loved it. Had Pat Morita, who used to be known. By the way, if you're surprised that racism is prevalent, not prevalent, pardon me, that racism still exists in America, Pat Morita, as a comic, used to be known as the hip nip, which, by the way, is a racial slur.
Oh yeah, from Nippon.
Yeah.
Japan. That's how in Japanese.
Yeah,
Nippon.
but he embraced it in order to make himself more popular. So nobody should be surprised there is still racism if you can remember racism. That's the point. Anyway, made me miss these kind of moments. My dad, he dreaded it, but then he loved it. I got lucky again. With Cocoon. He loved that movie too. After that, Dad and I had our language, and that language was movies, which makes sense. My dad was a storyteller as well, just in his own way.
Yeah.
And then I finally summed it up, which was the one truth that I took from this. Because, you know, hippy dippy Will from libertarian California. It made me realize, though, stop once in a while and appreciate that every day we make memories for someone else. Make more good than bad. And this is the important part, because this is where I was last night. Make them want to remember you.
Yeah, dude.
Right? Because that's waxing poetic about my own father, missing him, and that's just it, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but the one thing I found interesting in all that was that I found that part, the emotional connection, interesting, but also I found it kind of weird that Netflix was on Xfinity. That was shocking to me.
Oh, and speaking of Xfinity, dude, Comcast, same company, ABC, et al. Or not ABC, NBC, got a letter in the mail this month from my Comcast internet provider. Apparently, I am less than 1%. I fall into a category that is less than 1% of all Comcast internet users who uses over 1 terabyte of data billing cycle.
Oh, now this is very interesting. This is actually the point that you hit on. So you're a cable cutter. Trent gets all of his media now either from streaming or from download.
Yep.
Let's just put it that way. And of course, your gaming is also tied to your internet connection.
Yep.
This very broadcast is tied to your internet connection.
Yep.
So you are one of the people, and you could be representative of some of the population, but you're saying that there's only 1% of you that exceeds 1 terabyte.
Yep. Yeah. And it's, to me, that's I feel like the number should be so like there's 3 of us in this house, all, you know, heavy users. But how is that
of internet?
Of it, yes. or pornography. I guess the 2 are synonymous.
hand in hand, or hand. Never mind.
Hand in cock.
It's not. Whoa, that's
cock in hand.
Yeah,
cock
I was going to say you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, just it's not. It's just not working like it should. I keep on. It's if I can hit it. No, it's not. Anyway,
and this is why we were happy when we see Trent smile.
So right now I'm paying $120 a month in internet, and they gave me the option. You can still keep on doing that, but now our quote unquote unlimited plan that you have only goes up to 1 terabyte. If you go over 1 terabyte, you will be fined $200.
Holy shit.
So they gave me the option now to increase my cost now, so I'll be paying just a regular $200 a month, or pay my 120 with the chance of maybe getting a $200 overage fee. So
now, now, quote unquote, by offering you this plan, they're saving you money.
Exactly.
But the real question too is, and this is the interesting aspect of it, what are your other internet options in the Cache Valley there in Logan, Utah?
There's Digis, I think it's called, and it's not an option. You can't even game on it. So
So in other words,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're living in a what is that referred to when there's a king? A dictatorship.
A dictatorship, yeah, authoritarian state.
You know, here, if it were expanded into our area, which they don't do unless there is enough demand, good business model.
Yeah.
There's a Sonic broadband internet that's available that I could get outside of Comcast. I could also go to AT&T if I wanted.
I was gonna say, yeah, you had cable through AT&T at one time?
I did when we first started here in the home, and then I discovered that their internet, oddly enough, a telecommunication company internet was shit. And I had to switch to Comcast to even be able to get anything decent. So, boy, that's an interesting thing.
It is. It is. You would think like if I am in such a low percentage, right? Wouldn't they want to keep me around as such a good customer?
No, because you're such a low percentage. You're as far as they're concerned, you're a strain on the infrastructure.
Yeah,
so.
which and the whole thing is when they made this big announcement, they said, well, we're just trying to get people to actually pay for what they're using, which is fine. But does that mean that, say like if my parents are using not even a sliver of that, are you going to prorate their usage into the next billing cycle, which is obviously not the case.
It's interesting you mentioned that because we've made a few comments on the air before about, oh, hey, look, there's me messaging with Trent. I'm on the Project Fi plan, and as you know, now I work from home. So most of the time, the beautiful thing about that is it's not only a cellular service, but it's also a voice over IP service for your cell phone. And what that means is I pay monthly for my service just the same way everyone else does. But like there have been times where based on what I have paid and what I have used, because it's all based on data usage, there have been some months where I have only had like a $20 mobile phone bill.
Yep.
Or less. I think there was one month I paid $11 the base price is I think $20 for the service and I barely went over. It's something along those lines. So by that same model, you would expect that. So your parents are using less, so they'll get credit. But and also more to the point too. Where do you want to differentiate what they deliver via internet for your internet or via, come on, let's face reality, folks, internet for your television service?
Yep,
so
exactly.
So if you had TV service, you would put less of a strain on the quote unquote internet connection. But come on, it's all coming through the same wire.
Exactly, dude. That's what's so funny about the whole thing. Like,
I think
I don't know,
frustrating and double standard-ish.
Yeah, it's kind of like a my roommate's dad always says he never trusts the power company because why would you ever trust a company who wants you to use less of their product?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Makes perfect sense.
When they're like, no, maybe you should just maybe not use as much.
Yeah, makes sense.
That said, Google Fiber is rolling through Salt Lake in the different sections of it, south moving north. So, here in about 10 years, I'll probably be able to plug in there and be fine.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I know we already talked about the election rhetoric, but one of the things I found kind of funny is that there was an article a few months ago in Cracked, cracked.com of all places, where actually one guy wrote a very eye-opening article on this satire site for me. And it was like how there could be an appeal for one of the two candidates. And what it was doing was it not only broke down the reality of what the structure of most of America is like. You've got essentially let's just call it the one base divide. You've got city versus country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And by that I mean you got the big city folk and then you got the country living folk. Okay.
Yeah, you've got urban, suburban, and rural.
Now let's look at what the example they gave off the bat. Look at all of the popular films and themes in films. Star Wars. You got this evaporator farm boy basically bringing down the big shiny city folk.
Yep.
In their rebellion. Hunger Games, same story. The capital, lavish lifestyle. But you know what? It's oppressing the country folk. And it was just like, wow, wait a minute. Is this like a real article? Did somebody find a way to slip real news into crack.com? And they did.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to find that article, regardless of your political beliefs. It's an interesting read. Trent, if you don't mind, I want to transition for a second. I know I brought up Project Fi here. Because I'm on Project Fi, I have one of the phones that automatically gets the latest and greatest updates from Google. I'm not sure how far this outreach is, but as you know, this weekend was the movie that has been released that Mark Bernardin described as one letter away from the most amazing film he'd want to see. If you put an R into Beast, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, or as he has said it, Fantastic Breasts and Where to Find Them, has opened up. And this is a prequel to the Harry Potter world we are familiar with. Following the writer of Fantastic Beasts, Newt Scamander, I think is his name. And it's kind of it's a story that's told that's happening 70 years before the world of Harry Potter that we know. They've recently said that they've expanded it to they plan on about 5 movies. So Harry Potter fans rejoice. You're in the Harry Potter world.
Freaking out.
But the interesting thing is cross promotion that occurs. This phone has the latest. I'm going to show you the nerdiest thing that I've ever seen incorporated in movie promotion.
Oh no.
Are you ready for this?
Hit me.
Okay, Google, Lumos. Now, for those of you that can't see the podcast,
If it could only hear me, I would then tell it Knox.
okay, Google, Knox. So what has happened is the flashlight on my phone turned on and turned off. I'm casting spells with my Android.
Yeah, dude, how rad is that?
I am using something named after an artificial intelligence being to perform quote unquote magic.
So to delete your browser history, can you just go Forgeticus?
I sure should hope so.
What
Everyone,
was that, honey? Nothing. Forgeticus.
Forgeticus, you shit. No, that's what incognito mode is for. Actually, that's not true. I got to tell you guys, if there's any one thing that Trent has ever enlightened me on, and yes, I'm repeating myself much in the same way my father did, but anything you need to do that requires credentials or cookies, and you're wondering if there's a conflict, incognito mode is great. Case in point,
right in.
Every day that I am blessed enough to be able to post some of the podcasts you all enjoy through smodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
I have to upload it to 2 different accounts on SoundCloud. There is the premium version that's commercial free, that's through the Smodcast service, and then there is just a base account for the free podcast. Yeah. Now, rather than opening an entirely different web browser program for the premium one, I have that in my main window, and then I open an incognito one for uploading for the free account.
Yep.
And that is all because of you. You have made me more efficient, so thank you.
Aww.
I don't understand how this cross promotion comes in, but it's fun. The only thing I've discovered, though, it makes me look like an idiot in front of my family.
You know what? And with my phone, because one of my coworkers showed me that the other day. Mine doesn't do it. However, a neat thing that Motorola phones have is just by shaking the phone, it activates and deactivates the flashlight mode. So that's
not to be crude, Trent, but you get a little over vigorous in life. I'm just saying your bedroom could look like a disco. What's good? You see the light flashing into the door.
I don't know. I'm not doing it right. It's hand and dick on hand. I don't.
Twizzling. I don't know. What advining?
where one opens up to receive the other.
I don't know how it happens. Okay, last thing I want to talk about, Trent. By the way, is there anything you want to talk about this week?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm. Survivor Series is tomorrow, folks.
Oh, what? Well, first of all, thank God we are recording today because that sounds like something wrestling.
Oh yeah, dude, it's one of the big four pay-per-views that it's all on their own network now, but of the season. So a WWE blogger diva, she made this like fantasy scorecard that I'm going to be using. To like make my own like estimations as to who's going to win and everything. So I'm excited about it.
You know what I would love to see, because I'm not as ingrained in the wrestling world as you are. Honest to God, I would love the ability to watch one of these events, but then also in the corner to see you broadcasting like a real-time reaction.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
I mean, the last time I watched a pay-per-view with Judge Funky Boy Tom Sherlock, he like at the end there was like this big surprise that no one anticipated. Literally grabbed me and had me on the ground and was just like shaking my arms up and down. Just and it dawned on me the other day. It was exactly what happened when Billy Madison, no, Happy Gilmore was shaking the young caddy after he made a putt.
You know, I got to tell you too, one other thing that I saw, Trent, relating to wrestling that I found interesting, but I didn't know what it was in reference to. It looked like somebody had stuck the Undertaker in a box and then lit it on fire, and then somehow lightning struck and he was resuscitated. Or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
What was that all about? What was that?
There are a lot of casket matches at a Survivor Series. Kane did put him in a casket, and it was I believe this is the same one. It lit on fire and then lightning struck and he came back out of it. He's a dead man, Will.
Gotcha, I understand. So basically this was somebody probably talking about their anticipation for the next Survivor Series coming up.
And the Undertaker is now back. However, this will be kind of his last run as the character, and then he'll just go back into the backstage where he's really been, over the past 10 years.
Okay. See, these are things I didn't know. You didn't. Yeah. I know you don't expect to get wrestling talk here, but it's part of the. Anybody that follows Trent, we want to make sure that they get some enjoyment out of this show, at least.
Part of the Zeitgeist.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, talk about the Zeitgeist. I don't know what the Zeitgeist anymore. By the way, Trent, got to remind everybody before we talk about our last item this Tuesday. Check your local listings, mostly 8 p.m. Pacific time on the C-Dubs. And also, folks, I got to tell you, if you are a cable cutter, all you need is the CW app in order to watch.
Freaking awesome, dude. I love
the latest episodes of CW's The Flash.
Yep.
This week, you don't need to hear it here because you're going to hear it everywhere else.
I was going to say, but I mean, it's a good place to plug it here as well.
Yeah, I agree. Kevin Smith's second episode that he has directed of the CW's Flash airs, and this is an exciting one. It's titled Killer Frost. And by the way, he did make. I've been wondering what happened here, and because I was wondering if it was kind of an okayed thing, and it's just like, yeah, go ahead, do this. It's no big deal. There was a point during production, and the episode is titled Killer Frost. That's already been confirmed.
Right.
And he had tried to put a Canadian airline pen over the title. The episode tweeted the image, how he's all excited. It showed his name as director. It's got the Flash emblem. And people adjusted the tint and hue of the picture, and they were able to discover on the next page the episode title was Killer Frost.
Yeah.
And he made mention of that on Babble. He's like, the show, the executive producer did retweet it, but I was wondering if I was going to get in trouble. So it's titled Killer Frost, but this isn't like Killer Frost we got last season. This is actually quote unquote our Caitlin Snow, who is going through this transformative process now, and it's kind of like the fallout. This season's storyline has been really interesting because it has tested the relationship of everybody on quote Team Flash with the Flash. It started off with the Flashpoint reality, as they're calling it, where his parents didn't die and he stopped the Reverse Flash from killing his mom. And then they had a great explanation. Once he realizes he has to undo it all, and he comes back in the next episode, we find out things have changed. And the analogy that the other Flash, God, I can't remember his name now. I'm blanking because we're on the air. But anyway, the Earth 2's Flash, which is played by the same guy that played his dad, John Wesley Shipp, tells him that, the thing about time travel you have to understand is that sometimes once you break something, it can't be fixed. The example was he vibrated a cup and a piece chips out. No matter how much you try and put that piece back in, it's never exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so there have been changes in the universe that he lives in that continue on now. And this is one of those things. Before, Caitlin did not have powers from the particle accelerator explosion. Now they're manifesting. And so, and they're manifesting through, her ability to go sub-zero and all.
Yeah.
But, there was also the kind of thing that an explanation we got last season that makes you wonder if this is where we're headed, where she said that one of the other consequences was that it even gave it gave her a cold heart as well. Eventually it got to a point she just doesn't feel. So it's is that what's happening? And of course, she's a key member of Team Flash. So the question is, will this be a pivotal moment? Is this kind of a Buffy-esque, one of the good people becoming a bad person? Buffy the Slayer. Or is this one of the times where we're going to see one of the three key elements that happen in each episode? Heroics, humor, and heart. Is the heart element of this going to help save her, kind of thing? And the extended trailer just dropped for it. Guess who's been, and there's been news stories now. Greg Grunberg has been cast as a police detective, I think, who is one of those people that's very anti-metahuman. So it'll be interesting to see the way that plays out. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific. Also, though, the following week, even though it's not Kevin Smith related,
yes,
we are getting something we have truly never seen before. It's the televised version of a 4-issue crossover.
Oh, right.
It's Heroes versus Aliens. So it starts on Supergirl on Monday, continues on Flash on Tuesday, The Arrow on Wednesday, and finally DC's Legends of Tomorrow on Thursday. The story traverses all 4 shows.
Properties, yeah.
So that's folks, if you're a comic book fan in this day and age, this is the time to revel and celebrate.
Yeah, and they're doing such a great job with the medium, making it making it accessible and fun, and not being Gotham.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean? They finally got a product that knows what it is and are catering to that audience, and it's perfect.
I think so. I'll admit though, my biggest problem with Arrow is that I don't think I got in on it on the beginning. So, I haven't been able to embrace it. I've been with DC's Legends of Tomorrow since the beginning, but and I do watch it and I do enjoy it, but I don't connect with it on the same level as I do the Flash.
Right.
And I don't know why. That's one of those things I've been wondering, because I'll watch it and I enjoy it, but it's just not like. Well, let's put it this way. Tuesday morning, I wake up and I'm doing my work, and there's a certain point where I realize, there's a new episode of The Flash tonight. Yeah. And I look forward to that. Friday or Saturday, I may realize, I've got DC's Legends of Tomorrow on the DVR. Put that on.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm not connecting with it. Okay, last item before we go, Trent.
Just in one more quick thing.
No, I don't think so.
Speaking of the CW app, dude, 2 shows. A friend of mine is editing on both of them now, and they are so good. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh.
And another one that is only available on the app or on their YouTube channel, I Ship It.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
And that Ship It being in terms of fanfics ship.
Now, is that on the CW app proper, or is that on the CW seed? Or have those been integrated now?
I think they have been. I'm not sure, actually.
So check it out, folks. Do your own research.
But both are freaking awesome and funny and genius and right up our alleys.
Yeah, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was a show I didn't expect to like, but after the very first episode, I was so in.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. That's my quick little suggestion for CW stuff.
Oh, by the way, one of the shows that has been mentioned that I have been giving a chance and I have kind of connected on with that I look forward to seeing the way that it is unraveling. That's Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on BBC America.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I think there is, after a certain amount of time, I think it is free to everybody on their website.
Yes, yeah, and also, I mean, that's a property that has been very fleshed out in comics, in books, in role-playing games, a lot of different stuff. So if you're looking to get into something that's been heavily vetted, a fan universe, that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, one of the driving forces behind it is the son of John Landis, Max Landis. And if you follow Max Landis, I think the best thing I could say is, even when I first heard about it, I'm like, okay, that seems like a good combination of creator and the entity, because he's out there just enough to, I think, completely get it and carry it across.
Yep.
So I would definitely encourage people to look at this. Now, Trent, there's one other thing that I just don't understand in life that's happening.
Uh-oh.
Well, we're on the eve of Thanksgiving. You know, like, are we going to be on the air next week? No idea.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know, is Trent going to be home? Am I going to be home? I don't know. Nobody knows anything.
No, we don't know. We don't have the technology to see into the future yet.
Well, speaking of technology, this is a weird one. I don't understand this. So, I guess in a way, probably because I think on the 22nd of this month or last month, the second generation of the Amazon Echo Dot came out. Now, if you're not familiar with what these things are, they're basically advanced speaker systems that are always listening, and they connect through the internet, and they work with Amazon to both be a digital assistant and also a purchasing tool. Let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
It started with the original Echo, which basically looks like a very oversized Bluetooth speaker that sits there. It has to be plugged in. They also have the Tap, which is a Bluetooth pairable speaker that you can tap to it to interact with the artificial intelligence. And then they came out with the cost-effective Dot. This is their idea and Google Home now has one as well, and I'm sure Apple is going to have something. Well, they've got Siri, so they're just going to integrate that with like a blender or something. I don't know.
Well, only if you've got the dongle.
Yeah, but the Dot is don't get started with dongles. You got to put the dongle in the hand, Trent. Anyway,
yeah, it's okay.
We unlocked the way you can remember.
Oh, that's gonna save so much more time. I'll bet I'll be able to finish in like 30 minutes or less now.
Oh, like a pizza. So the final one, the one where they're trying to get one in every room of your house, is the Amazon Dot. So this thing is it's an oversized hockey puck. And you can connect it up to your speaker system. You can pair it with a Bluetooth speaker, or you can use its limited speaker that it's got available. Not like the Echo. The Echo supposedly has like full sound, like a Bose speaker kind of thing. And the idea that they're doing to help drive it, because they just came out with the second generation. So I think one way they're trying to make this seem attractive is that pre-Black Friday, they are now offering quote-unquote Alexa deals.
Okay.
I didn't say. Now, I happen, for evaluation purposes, to have received a refurbished Amazon Echo. It hasn't really gotten a lot of use, but it's the full-size version. And so here's what's happening this week, and they want you to keep checking back. So basically, Amazon is trying to get me to speak to an inanimate object every couple of hours over the next week, and they're going to have Black Friday deals. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. I didn't wire it up for sound, although maybe, and we can also try and think of a way to do this. So if you're not familiar with the Echo, and this is not a paid advertisement, but if you do wish to get one, remember to go to netheadsonair.com, click the Amazon link to use for all of your holiday shopping, because if nothing else, you're at least going to be putting 50% of the proceeds into the pockets of a very wonderful individual I call Trent Hunsaker. So if you have no other reason, if you want to help out Trent, that's one way to do it. And you know what? For the Christmas season, fuck it. 100% proceeds go to Trent through the end of the year. So what it is, it's always listening. Right, settle down, champ. Okay, here we go. So you basically talk to it with a wake-up term. You know, with the phone, it's okay, Google. But with Alexa, it's just Alexa. Little ring lights up. Alexa, tell me your deals. Let's see if it works. I don't know if you can hear this. Tell me your deals. No?
Several exclusive deals today.
Can you hear that?
Dove Beauty Bar, 14 bars of 4 ounces. It's $11.11 total.
Oh, there's a motivating buy. Dove bars.
38 cents. Would you like to buy it?
No.
Okay. My other deal is Samsung 32-inch LED TV.
32-inch LED TV. It's only $132, Trent.
Total. Discount is $78.
Do I want to buy
Would
it?
you like to buy it?
No.
What did you say? Yes.
It would
Check
buy
that
it.
daily. And don't
Just
forget,
it would just come on
we
its
will have
own.
Black Friday deals soon.
Oh,
You can also see
well,
online
I
exclusive
I haven't like,
deals.
warmed it up anyway, but maybe. Sorry, I had to stretch for the joke. But yeah, no, actually, look, over the years, I am becoming you. I got the glasses now, and now I'm saying, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, it would do that. I actually, she doesn't know about it yet, but I actually used the Echo the other day to order a gift for my daughter because we're broadcasting today, Trent, on what is known in our house as Family Day, because this is the day we went to court and the adoption was finalized. So this is the day where I legally became a parent for the first time.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a very special day for me. And, that's one of the things I always tell Emily is that, if nothing else, I want you to remember that you are the only person on this planet that made me a parent for the first time.
Aw, that's
So,
cool, dude.
Yeah, I also got to tell you, here's a tweet that I sent to my daughter on November 7th, or not a tweet, it's a text.
Yeah.
And God, okay, let's keep politics out of this so much. And it was for the message that I meant for it. Tonight may be groundbreaking. A woman may be elected president. This will mean there isn't any job you can't do in this country, no dream you can't achieve. And I meant that with all my heart to my daughter.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, so I bought her the Family Day gift through it, and I did just order it. And, it does other things too, like, Alexa, what's the meaning of life?
42.
There you go, 42.
42.
Alexa, what's the weather outside like?
In Brentwood, it's 57 degrees with mostly cloudy skies.
57
Today, you can
degrees.
look for rain-
I know, doesn't it sound beautifully warm to you, Trent?
God.
53 degrees.
It's good to know you can hear it. What other smart ass things does she do? Look, they've all got them. Like Google, Siri, they all have their little quirks. Like, Alexa, tell me a joke. She didn't hear me. Screw it. So anyway, nobody wants to hear me talking with an inanimate device. So I find that interesting, but it's like I don't think anyone is gonna suddenly. And I think if you just go to Amazon.com/Alexa deals, you can see the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like people are gonna rush out to get it. It's just like a little added benefit or a little. They've been trying. I wasn't impressed with really anything I saw on Prime Day that happened.
Oh, yeah, which is a joke now. Like.
Yeah, and so like this is another drive. I mean, it is convenient. I've been able to do so. Like I can also Alexa, what's up?
Hello, it's 12:24 p.m. Here's the latest. It's 57 and cloudy.
Alexa, stop.
Today,
So you
Yeah.
can also integrate it with your calendar and tell it to do things.
Yeah.
But I think the more important challenge that we have is to figure out a way to integrate it into the show in a way that's entertaining. We didn't hit that mark today. I'm sorry. But I think it's an interesting approach. But at the same time, I really feel like Amazon is continuously stretching to try and find a way to expand their marketability.
Yeah.
And they may be hitting ahead. I don't know. Also, I will tell you that one of the other things I was able to use the Echo for was I was able to order all 12 issues of Marvel's limited run, The Vision.
Oh, good, dude. Yes. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, I was able to enjoy that on the train, and or on the plane when I traveled back east. And I have to tell everybody too, every once in a while when you come across these trade paperbacks and the like, and it's a story you didn't look at, but you used to love comics, that kind of thing.
Yep.
There are some interesting runs, and it seems like almost all of them have always been sent to me by Trent. Case in point, the Superior Spider-Man trade.
Oh gosh.
It's actually an amazing read. If you turned your back on the whole concept of Doc Ock being Spider-Man, boy, oh boy, were we judgmental pricks. And I got to say something else. This limited run of The Vision was a very interesting comic. In many ways, it did certain elements where the story, kind of like in some ways that Watchmen did, there are parallels and inverses that occur, like echoes of the past when you get to the final issue, where the story kind of wraps up almost in the perfectly opposite way that it ramped up. And there were the existential questions and things that make you wonder. A lot more thinking that I would expect from coming out of reading a comic book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely a good read. If you haven't had a chance to check it out or you want to add something to your Christmas list, that's definitely something that I encourage people to do.
Yeah, and in fact, Amazon, in naming their best graphic novels of 2016, this is a link that Zach Knudsen shared. Right at the very top is, or in the top 10 is the Visions.
Yeah, and it's an amazing read. And if that stuff seems a little too highbrow in the way we're explaining it, let's just tease the enticing thing. Basically, the Vision, in order to not maybe understand humanity more or connect to humanity, wants to be more normal, and he makes himself a family.
Yep.
You know,
he's to be human, I need to experience the ultimate human act.
And it still has all the little types of things you'd want. Two little nods, like his address is 616, whatever it is.
Yeah, just the reality in which the main continuity of Marvel Universe takes place.
Yeah, so it's got little nods, and it also has like interesting little tidbits and teases. Like there's a certain people we meet, and they're like, in a couple months, one of the kids will set their home on fire. They'll die in the blaze. This will be their last thoughts. And then you're like, oh my God, what does that mean? And you're sitting there going, this kid's going to flip out. And then when the payoff happens, you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Also, of course, I did mention before, Timeless appears to be a good show on NBC. And we've said it before and we'll say it again too. I still fully endorse The Good Place as one of the more surprising yet interestingly lighthearted shows out there that is being put together by some of what I would probably consider some of the best comedy writers on TV right now.
Oh, for sure.
Holy moly. I know Megan Amram's involved with that one, and it's a wonderful show, folks. So those are our tidbits. You got any recommendations for the peoples?
I already mentioned those two. What else is out there right now? I think Harmontown. Or not Harmontown. Harmon Quest. Yeah, Harmon Quest has been fun. Hit and miss. Some of them are funnier than others. And if that is kind of your jam, check out the podcast Adventure Zone. That's the McElroy brothers, Dean, with their dad. It is hilarious.
Oh, you know what else too? For those of you that haven't been aware, Rick and Morty is supposedly coming back sooner than later. I don't know if we're going to see it before the end of the year, but that was some of the rumor.
Yeah.
I got to tell you one. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, that's all. Just hopefully before the 2017.
Oh, that's funny. So Carrie Lotion pointed out my echo just talked to me to Will because
because you're
we must be getting played out loud. So by the way, folks, you've been listening on speakers and you have an echo. Sorry, we screwed you over there. By the way, one of the first things I did, this should be funny because naturally you want to test the limits.
Sure.
So the first thing I did was the depressing one. Alexa, play NetHeads.
I can't find songs by the hit band.
Okay, didn't even understand.
Link your iHeartRadio account using the Alexa.
Yeah, shut up. Now, here comes. Sorry, shut up is a rude term. But here's the one I did kind of giggle and enjoy. Alexa, play Smodcast.
Getting the latest episode of Smodcast.
Figures.
Here it is from TuneIn. Supposedly.
This fine, fancy episode.
Alexa, stop. Thank you, Kevin, for making an appearance. Alexa, stop. There we go. By the way, also, Trent, one thing I'd like to announce right now, we're laying the groundwork. I think you may find this very interesting. I didn't tell you about this about the show or before the show. Maybe I should have told you after the show, but I'm going to say it right here, right now. I'm going to hang it out there, Trent. I'm going to unzip it and just hang it out there right now. I'm hoping this might excite you and of course, coerce you to stick around with NetHeads. But how would you feel about NetHeads being available through Spotify?
Quoi?
It's happening, brother.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
That's the only thing I'll commit to commenting on right now. Until next time, folks, my name is Will.
And I'm a very surprised Trent.
And you've been listening to another edition on NetHeads, dropping truth bombs on
Smodcast. Well, at smodcast.com.
Yeah, I kind of threw you there.
I'm so flubber.
It's supposed to play the music. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong key.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it. NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
Now, of course, what this means, Trent, to extend it just a little bit further, it's kind of exciting because it means Spotify does connect with the Echo. So people eventually will be able to say, Alexa, play NetHeads, and then it will. Oh, God, it did it again. Okay, good. She didn't hear me. I muttered near the end.
Songs by Dirty Heads.
Dirty Heads.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, if you're going to get head.
Here's the thing. If I've learned anything today, it's to just stick it in the hand.
There you go, folks. That's all you got to do. As long as it doesn't involve the finger, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe.
Maybe. I don't even know where. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Okay, so blah, 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 blah. Will says something funny and Trent laughs.